Ladies and gentlemen, people of all ages, welcome once again to Fulton Street Beats, where we like to take the boring, the mundane, as you know, roll all that ugly stuff up into one little grotesque ball, and make some rock and roll out of it. My name is Mr. Mike. I hope you are having a great day today, and I'm glad you could join me. And we're going to keep pumping out episodes because, well, some are interested while some are not. We can't please everybody all the time, but we can please some people some of the time, I hope. I hope you guys are doing good today. If you saw my last episode, I have been doing some conversions on my drum kit. And I guess it's really more than a conversion. What I've been doing, as you know, a few months back, I bought a Roland VAD 306 electronic drum kit, which I was happy with. But I'm never happy enough, and I guess none of us ever are, right? Because I'm an acoustic drummer. I love that acoustic feel around me. So I said, Mike, how do we, I talk to myself sometimes. I said, Mike, how do we inexpensively turn this into a visually appealing kit, acoustic looking kit, to get that feel inexpensively? And I've come up with a few different solutions, I guess you could say. Now, not having an electronic drum background, and I don't, I decided to dive into it head first and take all the risk so you guys don't have to. Because there's a bit of a separation with drummers, I've found, with electronic drums and acoustic drums, and I think we should have a meeting point in the middle where we can come to terms with what's real and what's not, what works and what doesn't. What are your expectations? Now, I have high expectations. I'm not going to lie, because I need this to function and respond like an acoustic kit. But what I'm finding is on the VAD 306, it does that. It does that. It really, really does it well. But what about drum triggers? And I see there's a lot of channels out there that deal in nothing but electronic drums. And I watch a lot of these channels, but I've noticed that they lose touch of what makes an acoustic drum. The number one's the feel. Of course, the sound. And, of course, we should be able to come close to digitally reproduce that acoustic sound. I mean, that just makes sense. We do recordings every day in the studio and on an acoustic kit and transfer that onto a music platform to everybody. And that's digitally transferred. So the moment that acoustic sound gets transferred onto something digital, be it a CD, what have you, well, you got a digital sound now. You're not there. You're not hearing it in person. You're not getting the full analog anymore, unfortunately, these days. So there is a crossover point where, but that's good. As far as electronic drums go, that's really good. But how do we keep them sounding acoustic? Of course, that is the module doing its job, but it's not just the module. I've found it's the triggers. And these Roland VAD 306 triggers that come, and they're a trigger plate. Those of you who haven't seen them, they're a whole entire plate that sits down over your bearing edge, and it can have 1 to 3 triggers in it. And they work quite well. Have mesh heads that sit on top of it, and they work quite well. So for you acoustic drummers out there, you say, hey, that sounds like a cool idea. I can drop these plates in and use it. But wait. With these acoustic plates, the Roland kits come with a reversed cut bearing edge. I don't know why they did that other than deter people from using their parts on an acoustic drum. But don't let it deter you, because they can still work. And I assure you, they work well. Now, if you go back a few videos back, you'll see that I took a trigger plate from a 10-inch tom, the Roland VAD 306 10-inch tom, and I dropped it into a Yamaha Stage Custom tom with a normal cut bearing edge, 45 cut bearing edge with a bit of a back cut. Sit on there, and I used the factory hoop too, by the way. I used the factory rim, not to the VAD 306, but to the Yamaha snare. I got better trigger response using an acoustic tom with the acoustic tom hoop and using the Roland VAD trigger blade. So those of you who hasn't seen that video, go check that. And I've been using it every day. And it works good. I'm impressed. Okay. So those of you who know, I purchased, instead of building one, got a really good deal on a 20-inch Mapex Desert Dune bass drum. Beautiful drum. Had a blemish inside. Nothing that is, nothing that's structural. Well, I'm not gonna buy a Roland head with the triggers in it like my VAD 306 kick drum had, my 18-inch, my little thin, I think it's 7.5 inches deep, the shell itself. Very thin, very visually unappealing. If you got a small footprint that you need to keep your drums at your home, I understand. But I kind of got a small footprint over here where I need to be. But, however, I still want to play on an acoustic-looking kit, and I want the ability to go acoustic when I need to. So I bought a trigger. And Roland makes good triggers. They do. I hear Yamaha makes some good ones, too, and they're pretty. They're chrome. I haven't tried them yet. We will get to that sometime, I promise. But I went on Reverb, and I bought from a seller out of Pennsylvania a brand new acoustic drum trigger. It is the RT30K kick trigger. And I put it on this 20-inch bass drum, this Mapex. Plug and play, plugged it in to my TD17 module. And let me tell you what. This is using the Mylar head. Threw some dampening in the drum to mute it a bit. Mylar head, I have not changed the head. This thing triggers better than the VAD 306 with the built-in pad with the triggers in it. It triggers better. And now I have the bass response that us acoustic drummers, when I'm talking about bass response, I'm talking about our rebound pedal response off of the Mylar head is better. You get that feel. So now we can really bang out that double bass. The other day I did some Motley Crue, Livewire. And I was hoping I wouldn't get a copyright infringement. I didn't get a strike, but I did, however, they did, I wasn't able to monetize it, even though I just used a clip. So their algorithms are picking up, just for you, those of you out there who want to know, are picking up any little variant now. I mean, it used to be you could use a few seconds of something. Yeah, I can't even know. Anyhow, I digress. The Mylar head with this RT30 trigger, which is plug and play. You simply plug it into the trigger, plug it, and the other end's my normal one that went to the module for the kick drum. Beautiful. It mounts solid. It mounts sturdy. I can't ask for more. It's amazing. So, and a lot of people go, wait, this stuff has got to be expensive, right? But here's the thing, it's not. Because I'm not going to keep this VAD 306 kicking around if I'm doing this. The VAD 306 got my feet wet. Because I was wet behind the ears, if you will. And it got my feet wet into the electronic drums. And I quickly realized that the quality of the shells is outright dog shit. And I wanted something better, stout, visually appealing, and to give me that feel. Because as a lot of you know, that this is why us acoustic drummers have a problem with electronic kits. They don't give us the feel that we get when we're sitting behind our acoustic kits. And that's why I'm going this route. So a lot of you have already went the route with triggers and went with D-drum. We do things that are cheap, and you go with D-drum and you get the trigger set for $99 and you pick up a cheap module I didn't do that. I bought a relatively expensive Roland full kit, and now I'm reverting back to an acoustic. And yeah, I can do this with my other drum kits. But I want to bring to you how to do this. Introduce yourself, get used to playing on the kit a little bit, so you know what they do right out of the box, then upgrade. Cymbals are great, by the way. For those of you who haven't used any of these Roland cymbals, the ride cymbals, the hi-hats, the crashes, they work really good. They respond very well. They're fully adjustable. You get any sound you want out of them. Can't speak enough. And what's really nice is you get all the nice hardware, your stands, your cymbal stands, your mounts for the toms, all this stuff with the kit. Now you will have to definitely purchase a snare stand and a hi-hat stand. You will definitely have to do that, and of course a drum throne if you're just starting out. But a lot of us already have this stuff. But they come with pretty decent hardware as far as cymbal stands goes. They're boom stands, and you get all your tom mounts. So where am I going with this? Well, listen. Buy a VAD 306, get used to it. I recommend it. The VAD 306 is a good, and I'm not going to say entry level. I think it's a good kit for anyone, professional, entry level. It does everything you need it to do. You get a little bit used to the mesh head response, and I come to enjoy it a little bit, but I still always lack the visual appeal and feeling that I got when I was playing it. So now that I'm sure that I want an acoustic looking kit, what I have done so far is I've mounted this trigger on a bass drum. How am I funding this stuff? I am selling off my VAD 306 components. Most of them are already gone. Getting more than my money back if I would have purchased, well, because I did purchase the entire kit. But electronic drums are funny because you can sell them. Be patient. You can sell them for more than what you, in other words, them separated are worth more than them all together, if that makes sense. And if you had time to piece them out, and I'm talking rims, shells, triggers, trigger plates, what have you, I mean, you could really do well. So what I do is I sell one to fund the other and make money on top of it. It's a no-brainer in my case. So what I've done is I bought and I took some of this. I'm experimenting totally with different brands and everything right now. This is going to be a kit that's kind of thrown together in different variations of things, close but different. We got a Yamaha 10-inch tom. Why a 10-inch tom? Why not a 12-inch tom? Well, I think a 10-inch tom, the tuning with it will do anything that I need it to do. And what I did is I took the Roland VAD 306 mesh head and trigger plate, that's right, dropped it into it, and it works beautifully. Easy peasy, mounts up to my tom mounts that came with the Roland VAD. Perfect. The only modification that I had to do was take a little nub off the trigger plate, really easily done with a pair of needle nose and a razor blade, and put a hole in the bottom. I did a hole in the bottom of the resonant head to go up to run into the plug into the trigger. That's it. You can do it through the air vent hole if you wish. I just did not have a straight shot plug to do that, so I did not. So I just ran up. I'm not resonant head. Perfect. Then I sold my bass drum. Right. There was none on reverb. I sold my bass drum. Got plenty of money out of it. Let's just put it that way, because it's brand new basically. Sold it, bought this Mapex acoustic drum and the trigger with lots of money left over, which funded what I have just ordered, which is a matching Yamaha Stage Custom floor tom. And you ready for this? Not one, but two triggers, dual zone Roland triggers. I'm making money and putting my kit together that is way better than the Roland VAD 306 out of the box ever was. But I got a really good, the modules, the key. That TD17 module does everything I need it to do. Some people like to have more in their modules. I am fine with this module. It does everything that I need it to do. I am fine. So the only thing that's left that's stock on this kit right now is the Roland VAD 306 snare. And I'm on the fence of what direction I'm going to go because I'm going to sell the snare. There's no doubt about it. And the snare is the most heavily played on, of course, than your cymbals. Heavily played on component that we have in the kit. Well, it's still less than a couple months old. I'm going to throw it on reverb. And it was wrapped. If you guys remember, I did that wrapper on it, so the finish is magnificent. The other day, I took it off, put it back to stock. So it's like brand new. Everything's like brand new on it. And of course, the head shows very little wear because they're mesh heads and they last a long time. So it's a perfect functioning. So what I'm going to do is get myself, and I'm going to do it cheap. I'm going to wait and find a deal and get myself, I don't know what size I want, whether I want a 13 inch or a 14 inch. I definitely don't want a 12. And that's what comes with these is a 12. They're small. So as if I got a 12, I could just drop this trigger plate in it, sell the shell and the rim. But I'm not going to do that. Probably going to get a traditional size 14, like 5.5, something like that. And since I have 2 triggers coming, there's my trigger snare, dual zone trigger. We have it. Now, I imagine, and I can't be certain, and I'll let you know, that they're going to respond to like this kick drum trigger, which is just a single zone trigger, right? And this is a dual zone, so we're going to have rim shots and everything, which is cool. And once again, I'll sell the snare drum, and that will pay for the new snare and all new heads for the kit so I can deaden it. Take the Mylars off, put them up, and have all new heads. Easy peasy. Zero investment. Everything upgraded. Now that's the coolest thing I've ever heard, right? So that's where we're going with that. So that's the first on the agenda, and I wanted to touch base on that with you for all of those of you who are interested in converting your acoustic drums, and you want real world results. You don't want a result that is biased, that is paid for anything. I'm going to give you the results that are real and the headaches that you might get to go with it. So what can I tell you for sure right now? Roland VAD 306, great starting point. And you can make money on it and do your upgrades. If you're a drummer and you want an electric kit, start with it and then convert. You can have 2 kits then. And you could stick with the VAD. There's nothing wrong with the VAD 306. You could stick with it. I just don't think they're built well. And I'm not saying that the module's bad or the hardware's bad. I'm saying the shells are shit. You know, I compared them to a Griffin snare, their shells on the VAD3. I'm gonna tell you right now, they're worse than a Griffin. They're worse than a Griffin shell. And for those of you who have ever had to know and bought a Griffin drum off of eBay or Amazon or what have you, those who live in the real world who know about drums know that they are shit. That's how these are. Horrible bearing edges, horrible quality plies, just not good. But the kit works, so and they're all right on the outside. There's not, I mean, they're wrapped when they come usually, and with these black wrap they put on them too. They got all kinds of micro scratches and everything in them too. They're already scratched before you get them, so you're paying for the electronics. And what I've found is those rubber hoops that they put on these things, these rubber hoops that they put. And people say, well, that's so you don't damage your hoop. I don't care. I'm an acoustic drummer, man. My hoops should take a beating because we beat our drums, and that's the thing. I'm going to beat the snot out of these drums. So the rubber comes off, and from what I've found with this Stage Custom that I'm using, that rubber, it literally affects the triggering. Now I get way better triggering. So will that be the same on every drum? I don't know. I imagine it would be. I would guess. So we'll have to see. So in other news in Fulton Street Beats, if you saw few episodes back with the Epiphone Flying V58 Carina limited edition. Yeah, not so limited. Gibson. Not so limited edition. As a matter of fact, it's not so limited. It's not a limited edition at all. They've been making these things for freaking years. They got different years. I guess that's what makes them a limited edition as well. You got 365 days in the year. And if you made it in that year, I guess it was limited to that year until you roll over into the next year, in which case you have another 365 days to be considered a limited edition for that year. It is a marketing scam. It is bullshit. And it pissed me off, and I did a video about it. Because when I buy a limited edition, I want to know how many were made, what was the production run. You don't figure that out after you do it, Gibson. And as you can see, we have something else behind us here, too. We have this, I guess I call it a LYX Pro amp. And I told you guys I'd be your guinea pig on things. This is an AGL 40. It kind of probably looks smaller than it really is because it's behind me. It's orange. It's the exact same color orange that the actual orange amps are. For those of you who like those, it's not that sound. Don't mistake the two, but it's got that nice retro 70s vibe to it. That British vibe almost. With the brushed gold up here, light kind of gold, old school lettering. So it's a $99 amp. It's 40 watts. It's got an 8-inch speaker. I got it on Amazon for $99. I plugged it in. It works. It does everything that it's supposed to do. Is it the best sounding amp in the world? Hell no. But it's $99 and it gets the job done. It's a great, let's say, practice amp. It's a great practice amp. And it looks good. I mean, it really does. I think it looks great. It's orange. Hey, but look, it matches my guitar perfectly, right? Orange guitar, orange amp. No, it wasn't supposed to be that way. This guitar was supposed to be antique natural. As a matter of fact, I wish I could spin you around because my drum set, my kick drum, is antique natural. It don't look like this freaking thing. This top right here is antique natural. You know, natural means you cleared over the wood. You can antique it a little bit. You know, you can make it. You can give it that faded, dark and faded look in the grain. That's how you antique it. You know, make it look a little older, but turning it yellow or school bus orange, that's not antique. That's an orange guitar right there with no antique to it at all. It looks like a bright orange guitar that just came out of the box and says, "Look at me." Kids can go to school in me. I'm still pissed about it, by the way. So my dilemma is this, and I don't think I'm going to send it back because I think it's worth it to keep just to remember how effed up Epiphone is for producing such a failure. Speaking of failures, I've since went around the guitar, and I don't want to bash them. But their customer service really pissed me off when I called them. Pissed me off. This guy was, I told you before, an ass clown. Pissed me off. And when somebody doesn't want to admit when they're wrong, it really pisses me off. Because it's like the most liberal thing you can do. I'm right, even though I'm wrong. Up is down, down is up, you know, left is right, and right is left kind of thing. So all I wanted out of the whole thing really was to get my card that they left blank. And okay, so there's a card that comes with it, warranty card, kind of like a authenticity card. And it's supposed to have a serial number written in it. There's a blank space for your serial number. Well, you don't write that in. The factory's supposed to write that in, and it guarantees that the guitar is free of defects. It's been checked, and the serial number's in there. Somebody took the time to put the serial number in there. There you go. Well, he didn't do that. So I did some research. You guys might find this interesting. So you got there's another that's is a limited edition, I think. There's a player, and you know what? I don't know him. As a matter of fact, when I heard his name, I was like, I don't even know who this guy is, because I don't know. Bonamassa. Monomas is the name. I apologize to any of you out there who know who. I just don't. I don't. He's not must not be my thing. You know, when I think of, you give me Randy Rhoads, you give me Angus Young, you give me Eddie Van Halen, you know, things like that. Dave Mustaine, Yngwie Malmsteen, Steve Vai. I'm gonna know who these guys are. Jimmy Page. You know what I mean? These are the guys that are guitar players that I'm going to remember. Not, I don't know who he is. Drummers, I know. Guitar players, not really. So I apologize. I don't mean anything by it. If I offended, I mean nothing. But apparently they got that Bonamassa Flying V. And I think it was the right color. I think it was the color that this is supposed to be. But anyhow, I get looking online at one of these things. And by the way, they're going for well over $2,000 now for these limited edition Epiphone. Comes with a case, though. Nice case. Has a picture inside of it and things like that. The things you want, your little special trinkets that we want when we buy guitars. And they had the exact same card in it that I got. Your instrument's fully inspected, and they give that bullshit where learn to love it crap and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? The freaking thing was blank. I couldn't believe it. I saw it online. It's blank. There's not a serial number in it. Epiphone, Gibson. What the are you doing? Are you serious where you're that lazy? You can't put a number in the card that's supposed to have a number? That is the definition of retarded. You're set back. You're firing in all brain cells. Don't put the card in the box then. Leave it out. Ridiculous. I think it's funny, though. It's comical because years from now, we'll look back. And what amazes me now in today's day and age is all these passive people going, that's okay. And they're looking at these guitars and they get them. Same with drums and stuff. It's the same all around. Quality, anything. Quality is turning to shit on things. And people are going, they're defending it. They're defending the shit quality. These are not what they used to be. Things are not what they used to be across the board. And I'm finding that cheap shit, like literally cheap shit now, is becoming better than the expensive stuff. This is the Mandela effect. What the hell is happening? It's crazy. So I got a buddy of mine. I shouldn't tell you this story, but I got a buddy of mine who has a Chibson Flying V. And I called him up and I said, hey, you still got your Chibson Flying V? He says, yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it before. And it looked good. Matter of fact, it's one of the reasons that I wanted this Epiphone Flying V. It's like, they look cool. They got a cool vibe, right? This one don't because it's orange. Got a cool vibe if you're going to school. You're 4. Anyhow. So I go over there and I said, I want to bring my new Epiphone over and I want to check out your guitar. Just bring it over. So I bring it over and he's got a 58 Chibson, but it's spelled with a G on his, of course. And I look at his guitar and I go, that's how my freaking guitar is supposed to look. That's how my guitar is supposed to feel. That's how my guitar is supposed to be built. What the hell is going on? His Chibson blows this Epiphone out of the freaking water. And the sound, now, mind you, this is one of the newer ones apparently that have came over. They got this shit down. I'm impressed. Now, am I impressed that people try to pass these things as real? No, I'm not. Of course, that's fraudulent, but so is calling a guitar limited edition. That's not a limited edition. Which one's more fraudulent? A major company doing it or a fly-by-night company in China doing it? I think the bigger company has more to answer for than a company that we have all expected from already, right? So basically, this Epiphone's a Chibson. That pissed you off. Some of you right now just went, "Oh, he just said that." This Epiphone's a Chibson. It's Chinese, but it's worse. It's made by Gibson, and it's not even good quality. It's Chinese Gibson. Think about it. And it's not of that great of quality. There's dimples in the clear. It's not the right color. It's not the right forming of wood. It's not the right build that I ordered. But my friend's is. It's the build that I ordered. So Gibson, did you use Chibson pictures for your Epiphone? I'm just curious. I mean, I'm not saying you did. Just curious if you did. Think about it. It's the right color. And it sounds better. So they got these things on here. Designed by Epiphone USA. Double vacuum waxed. Not just any kind of waxed, but double vacuumed waxed. What another marketing gimmick. We waxed them in a vacuum because we didn't want to get a little air bubble where there wasn't any wax. Give me a freaking break, dude. We're going to get that vintage sound, and then we're going to do all this weird shit to it that we didn't do back in 58. It's just funny because this was expensive and his was less than half the price with shipping. Here's a better thing. It came with a case. It came with an amazing case also. I don't care if it's fake. It's better. It's better. I would be a prouder owner of having his. I told him, ready for this? I said, I will trade you right now. You can have my authentic Epiphone Flying V with the case, with the stickers on the humbuckers, with my blank paperwork, and you give me your Chibson Flying V with the case and your authentic looking paperwork. And here's the best fucking part. His paperwork that he got with his had the serial number to the guitar, even though they're probably the same wherever. I don't know, but they're probably all the same. It had it written in, like with a stamp in the paperwork. The Chibsons paid more attention to detail than Gibson did with their Epiphone. So now it's comical. Now it's funny. I'm not pissed anymore. I guess. I mean, because now it's comical. It's downright freaking comical that they do this stuff. Hey, you want to buy a limited edition guitar? Sure. Well, it's not limited. You want to buy a natural antique guitar that looks just like this one? Yeah. Yeah, when you get it, it's not going to look like that one. It's not going to be built the same. You want Gibson customer service? Yeah. No, you probably don't because it's shit. Funny. So I don't know. Anyhow, I'm going to order up some things. And I got a bunch of reverb payments that just came in. And I'm got to order. We got the floor tom already ordered. The triggers are already ordered. And I am going to be. Oh, wait a minute. I have another guitar coming. And we're going to compare this guitar. It's not the same. It's not a V. It's a LP Les Paul, but not a real Les Paul. It's a Les Paul style. No, it's not a Chibson, as people would say. It is a Glen Burton Gold Top Sparkle Les Paul style guitar that cost $190. That's on its way. Might even be here today. I don't know yet. We're going to compare the quality head to head. This is what I'm going to base reviews off of this guitar so we can compare. And by the way, the frets on this, two things. Black fingers when you play. Nothing worse than that. And the fret job is not very good. Yeah, we got some sharp frets. We have some on each side up here. We have sand marks where you can see the sandpaper marks. Yeah. I don't know. It could have been a beautiful guitar. All I had to do was take some time. Could have been beautiful. And I don't know. Karina wood. I don't know. Are we sure that's what it is? I don't know. It yellowed or oranged when they cleared it, apparently. That's not what it does when you put a clear over wood. That's why it's called clear. It stays clear. Or at least mostly clear. So there's some kind of reaction going on there. Or they have an amber tint in it. I don't know. But they're trying to cover up something, because if you tint something, you're usually tinting what the wood is. So we'll do a comparison when this Glenn Burton comes in and is an LP style. And from what I've heard, these things are amazing. They come up set up great out of the box, and there's very few issues with these. And then we're also going to be building our own guitar here in the studio. I can show you guys exactly how easy it can be to build a guitar. And like I said before, I don't consider myself a guitar player. I am a drum builder and a drum player. But we're going to build a guitar and see just how hard is it. And what I've noticed by what I can judge by a lot of videos out there, there's a lot of guys who can build guitars and build them good, but when it comes to finishing them, they pretty much suck. I've seen some great builds, and the icing on the cake is the finishing work, and they're horrible. And if you know they're showing up horrible on the computer screen, in real life, they got to be pretty bad. Not that you guys didn't do a good job building them, you did, but finishing, there's people out there who do that. Take it to somebody who there's a knack to it. There's a knack to it. Not gonna lie. And I don't know. Spray can results, things like that. You can get a good result from a spray can with anything, but it literally takes way more effort and more time to do it and do it right. Lots of buffing, lots of wet sanding, lots of polishing. So keep that in mind. Sometimes it's better to take it to somebody and say, hey, you can take your guitar to an automotive guy and have him do it. You can have him finish the body, whatever you need. If you want that done, if you're building a guitar, you won't charge much. Pick your color, do something cool off the wall. What do you got? Get us some samples. Hey, this looks cool. Let's do this. Let's try something. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to build a gem guitar, Steve Vai style, and I'm not going to do all wackiness on the body, but I'm gonna do something. I'm thinking maybe along the lines of a gold root beer sparkle, something like that. Thinking about that, and see how that turns out, and we'll see how that compares to this Epiphone. Should be interesting, right? I think it'll be interesting. So we got that going on, and I want to thank you guys for watching Fulton Street Beats, because without you, there is no me, and you guys rock. You really do. Stick around. We're going to have a lot of reviews coming up, a lot of how-tos. Never know what you're going to get. Could be drum-oriented. Could be anything. We actually have a tube amp here, a hybrid tube amp in the house for home theater. I'd say home theater. Music. It's just a 2-channel. Very clean, very nice. And I've had it long enough now where I can actually give an honest opinion on it. It's by Mono Price, and we'll see if it's worth it. Stick around for that. Thanks for watching Folk Street Beats, guys. Remember to be kind to one another and love one another. Have a great day, guys.